studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
It is 19 hours, 1 in Guyana and right across the Eastern Caribbean. Good evening. Welcome to your evening newscast for today, Wednesday, September 14th, 2022. With the news at this time, my name is Joshua Van Slykeman. It was a bloody scene Wednesday morning at the Maka Eastbank Demerara Road ahead when a taxi driver stabbed one of his colleagues to death during a quarrel over parking lot. Dead is Quincy Weeks, 41, a father of one and resident of 31 Nelson Street, Maka Eastbank, Demerara. The suspect is presently in police custody. This newscast understands that Weeks and his alleged killer were friends who piled their trade together as taxi drivers at the Maka Road head. However, things turned sour between the two recently over $500. On Wednesday morning, things took a deadly turn for Weeks when another argument erupted between the two, this time over parking spot. Police believe that the argument had only added fuel to the fire because the alleged killer was already angry about the $500 dispute they had. As things escalated, he reportedly armed himself with a knife and stabbed Weeks several times about his body until he fell to the ground. In other news, President Irfan Ali is set to depart Guyana on Wednesday for a series of engagements in the United States of America, including roundtable discussions, bilateral meeting, a diaspora engagement, as well as interfaith forum over the next few days. High on the agenda is a meeting on Thursday, September 15th in Washington, D.C., between Caribbean leaders and the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. The meeting is a follow-up to His Excellency's President Joseph Biden and Vice President Harris' commitment at the recent Summit of the Americas to partner with the Caribbean to promote energy security, access to finance, and food security. On Saturday, September 17th, President Ali is slated to travel to Orlando, Florida for a diaspora engagement, and from September 18 to 21, he is scheduled to participate in a number of bilateral engagements and address several high-level events, including the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly on September 21st, 2022. Meanwhile, following months of protest action for him to be removed, the controversial Chief Executive Officer, CEO of the Linden Hospital Complex, LHC, Rudy Small, has resigned. This was relayed to the Region 10 Democratic Council, RDC, by Regional Executive Officer Dwight John on Thursday at the RDC's statutory meeting. Regional Health Officer Dr. Gregory Harris is currently acting as the hospital's CEO. However, a new CEO is expected to be appointed soon. Regional Chairman Darren Adams said while officials would welcome the appointment of a new CEO, it must not be one who is power drunk and makes decisions that are not in the best interests of the institution and the staff members. Meanwhile, as Guyana's oil earnings continue to increase, with production rates set to climb to over 1 million barrels of oil per day by 2027, economist Elson Lowe has warned that the revenues streamed from these earnings should not be invested into companies associated with oil and gas. The economist explained that proper decisions when it comes to investing these funds are critical, especially since the government is fixed on using the limited window to develop its oil and gas resources. To this end, Lowe said that the quote-unquote investment committee must stay away from investments in the oil and gas-related industry to avoid risk. He explained this is because the fund must act as a stabilizing mechanism when oil prices are low, and oil and gas companies must see their stock drop severely in those conditions. Leader of the AFC and opposition parliamentarian Kamraj Ramchatan was the first person to take the witness stand as the trial in the case filed to challenge the passage of the controversial National Resource Fund Act got underway on Monday. The NRF Act is meant to ensure that there is security, transparency, and accountability surrounding revenues the country gains from oil and gas. It also outlines a structure of how the monies from oil and gas will be used and provide for continuous public disclosures, audits, and parliamentary approvals. The Act also has stiff penalties for breach of any part of the Act. And finally, at this time, today, weeks after the police were advised to institute several criminal charges against Detective Sergeant Dion Bascom. The detective is slated to appear before a city magistrate in relation to 3 cybercrime offenses. This development comes after Bascom made accusations about an alleged police cover-up in the murder of Ricardo Fagundes, known as Paper Shorts. In fact, he had made accusation against his bosses at the Force's Criminal Investigation Department, claiming that they were bribed to cover up the March 2021 murder. We were reliably informed that Bascom will be appearing in the Georgetown Magistrates Court for 3 counts of using a computer system to humiliate a person.
And that's the news of the moment. Remember to get the full details of these stories, pick up a copy of the Kaieteur News. And don't forget, you can catch us on the MyTuner app as well as the Radio Garden app. You can also keep up to date by liking